we were reading this story at bedtime. And, we were one chapter in and it was extremely creepy. I looked up and I saw the looks on my children's face of fright. Hi friend, today let's chat about our 2023-2024 homeschool read alouds. And I'm going to also share with you the 4 things that I kind of go through, the questions that I ask myself whenever I'm choosing our read alouds for the year. And then if you stick around to the very end of this video, I'm going to share with you my least favorite read aloud of all time. So let's dive in. My name is Rachel Bourne, and my husband and I have 4 kiddos ranging in ages from 4 to almost 12. And so that's quite the age range that I have to consider whenever I am picking read alouds for our homeschool. There are so many choices when it comes to read aloud books, so sometimes it can be really overwhelming to choose what books to read aloud. But over the last several years of homeschooling, I have learned to ask myself 4 questions when it comes to choosing a read aloud. And so those questions are, the very first question I ask myself is this a book that's interesting to me? I don't want to be reading a book that I find uninteresting or boring. So that is the first question that I ask is this something that I'm interested in reading? The second question that I ask is kind of a follow-up to that. Is this something that my kids would be interested in reading? And sometimes I am really good at guessing what they might be interested in, and sometimes it's a complete shot in the dark. But that's the second question I ask. Is this something that I think that they would be interested in reading? The third thing that I ask myself is, does this pass the thinking test? Is this book full of things that I want my children to be thinking about? And the thinking test is the things that are true and honorable and right, pure, lovely, commendable, excellent, praiseworthy. These are the things that I want my children to be thinking about. And then I look at the books that I have as options for read alouds. So the fourth question I like to ask myself when it comes to choosing read alouds for our family is this the right time and place? Because you could have a book that is really interesting and engaging for me and the kids. It is, wonderful, appropriate, good literature, and it's just the wrong time either in our lives to be reading it, or it's the wrong time of day to be reading it. I learned this the hard way last year. So the reason that I added this question to the list is that last year I decided that we would read the classic A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I was so excited to share the story with my children. My 2 oldest daughters were a part of an adaptation of A Christmas Carol. It was a play that our church was putting on for the Christmas time, and I thought, this is perfect. We will read this story together and just enjoy the classic together. What I didn't think about was the fact that we were reading this story at bedtime. And, we were one chapter in and it was extremely creepy. I looked up and I saw the looks on my children's face of fright. And I realized, okay, so bedtime is not the best time for this read aloud. I quickly put that book to the side and we picked a different read aloud for the evening times. That is when I decided that I should have a 4th question. Is this the appropriate time and place for this read aloud to be happening in our family? So you'll notice that The Christmas Carol is back on the list for this year, and I will just ensure that we are not reading that at bedtime this coming school year. So without further ado, let's chat about the read alouds that I have on our list for this school year. So the read alouds that I have on our list for this school year are The Penderwicks, Stuart Little, Little House in the Big Woods, The Family Under the Bridge, Mr. Popper's Penguins, Henry Huggins, The Bears on Hemlock Mountain, The Cricket in Times Square, Anne of Green Gables, By the Great Horn Spoon, and A Christmas Carol, like I just mentioned. So these are the books that I have planned for our read aloud for this coming school year. Now, as we do a read aloud, like as we complete a read aloud for our family, I am keeping track here in my family read alouds page here in my planner. I have a completely separate video on the pages of my planner, so if you're interested in looking at my planner, I'll put a link in the description box below. In fact, I will put a link to all of the books that I am mentioning today in the description box below for your convenience for you to look through if you're interested in those books. So a couple of the read alouds that we've already finished for this school year: Peter Pan, Soup, House on the Cliff, which is the Hardy Boys book number 2, and The Penderwicks. So we are in the middle of reading 2 read alouds right now. We are currently reading Little House in the Big Woods and Stuart Little. And Stuart Little is a book that we have not read aloud before. I think it's because in my mind it's closely correlated with the book that I really didn't like. And so this is the first time we're sharing this story. We're only 2 chapters in, so the jury's still out on whether we like it or not, but those are the current read alouds that we're doing. I'd love to know what read alouds that you are currently doing and a review. If you love the book, don't love the book, I'd like to know. So if you've stuck around this long, I'm sure you're interested to know the book that we really did not enjoy as a read aloud for our family. And it was really surprising. I was expecting to love this book. I love the author. Kate DiCamillo is an amazing author, but the book that we just didn't enjoy is The Tale of Despereaux. It's an award-winning book. I just was really surprised by the fact that we did not enjoy it. I think the story just seemed to be really dark to me. It didn't seem to be any characters that I really enjoyed, or I didn't like the story. I didn't like the story. My children didn't like the story. I started it like reading it aloud to my children from the copy that we own, which I'm not even sure we still own. And we were just having a really hard time with this story. And I was just like, oh, like maybe it gets better. And so I actually went to the library and got the audiobook, and we finished the book listening to the audiobook, and I just kept thinking, like, maybe the story gets better. Like, what am I missing here? So tell me, if you loved The Tale of Despereaux, tell me why. Like, what is it about the story that you like? We did not enjoy it at all. We did finish it, but So when you're choosing read alouds, sometimes you just miss. Like, you think you're gonna like it, you think your kids are gonna like it, you think it's gonna be this great story, and you get into it and it's not. And it's okay. You can just choose a different book and go on from there. There are millions of options for read alouds for your family. So I hope you found this video to be helpful. I am so glad to be recording again. I'm a little bit under the weather. I have a little bit of a cold today, but I could not put off doing a video any longer. I have been wanting to start back up and do weekly videos as we've kind of found a good groove for our homeschool for this fall, and so I'm looking forward to doing weekly videos and popping back in here to your YouTube feed and sharing with you about tips, tricks, information, and encouragement for homeschool. So subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and stick around for more all things homeschool here at Born for Homeschool. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week homeschooling, and I will see you again in next week's video.